Hey guys, Lance, LT Outdoors, and today I want to bring you my top 5 fall baits. Now, here in Texas, it's been 80-90 degrees the last several days. This morning it dropped down to, I believe, 48 at my house when I got out of bed at 6 o'clock, and it's probably in the mid 50s right now, and it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So the temperature dropped dramatically for us here in Texas. It's a little bit chilly. I know you guys that watch my channel that are up north, you're probably laughing at me saying that's not chilly. Well, for us down here in Texas, it's a little bit chilly. But anyhow, beyond that, the temperature dropping. The bass are coming out of their hiding spots from the hot summer heat. They're moving up in the creeks. They're moving up in the shallow waters. Now, what better time other than the spring to catch big bass is in the fall. So to start out my day during the fall, I like to throw a topwater. I'm pretty much old school. My favorite is a buzzbait. Buzzbaits work tremendously well in low light conditions. If it's an overcast day, early in the morning before the sun really gets up to a higher peak, there's shadows along the bank, there's dark points along the edges of the water. Cast a black and blue buzzbait out. There's so many different types of buzzbaits. We're not going to go into that today, but a solid black blade works better. A solid black and blue buzzbait, chunk it. I throw it on probably 30 to 50 pound braid depending on the conditions I'm throwing in myself. Throw it parallel to the bank and sit there and just burn it right along that bank, and you're going to catch reaction strikes off the bank early in the mornings, late in the evenings. Just a tremendous lure in itself to catch topwater bass. Now, if the water is stained, somewhat dirty, I'll change to a chartreuse and white, or if it's just a little bit stained, maybe even a solid white with just a paddle tail on it, or a shad color. The clacker style works really well. Also, there are probably 50 different types of buzzbaits, but we're not going to go into the types of buzzbaits today. But basically, generally, early mornings, late evenings, I'm going to throw a black and blue, dark color, throw it parallel to the bank, and burn it and catch lots of fish. Like I said, if the water's dirty or murky or even chocolatey milk colored, chartreuse and white normally works very well. If it's just a little bit stained, a shad color or white works tremendously well also. Now, I know what you're saying, you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, LT, why not a whopper plopper? And you got to get out and whop the plop and whop your whopper plopper. Those catch tons of fish. Yeah, they do. They catch tons of fish. Great lure. I just prefer a buzzbait. Another style is your topwater poppers. Sometimes they want a smaller meal, they want a smaller bite. These smaller poppers work tremendously well. I usually start out with a white or bone color such as this. If it's bright and sunny, a lot of times I will throw this silver and blue. Just gets a better reaction. The feather tails attracts them more. They both rattle as you pop them along the water. Really just great, awesome topwater lures for a smaller bite and when they're not touching buzzbait. Alright, so next lure I want to be throwing after throwing a buzzbait in a topwater and they're not biting or striking on any kind of topwater, I'm going to switch up to a spinnerbait. This is the War Eagle Blue Herring. I really like this color. This color has caught me tons of fish throughout the entire year. I'll throw this color, a shad color, or if the water is dirty or stained or even muddy, I will switch up to a chartreuse or chartreuse and white. I prefer the bigger blades. The larger number 5 blades put out more vibration and a little more flash in the water column when you're throwing. Throw them on 12-pound fluorocarbon, and you can work it different ways. You can throw it out, let it drop to the bottom and slow roll it on the bottom. You can throw it out and keep your rod tip up and bring it higher through the column. Work it through the grass along banks. When they're up shallow, you're going to work it around all that dead grass that's dying off in the fall period, and just bring it straight through that grass and vegetation, and you're going to have strikes. Throw a trailer hook on here. This is the only one I had to present to you, or else I would have a silver one on here. Throw you a trailer hook on there. That way when they swipe at it, you have an extra chance of getting hooked up on it. So number 2, definitely one of my favorites, is a spinnerbait. So moving on, during the fall, the bass are in the shallows. They are feeding in the creeks, they are feeding in the pockets. They're running, they're moving, they're searching for what? They are searching for bait fish, they are searching for food. Well, another great, awesome search bait is your lipless crankbait. This is a sexy shad lipless crankbait. I really like the sexy shad color. Works tremendously well for me. There are hundreds and hundreds of them on the market. Strike King, Excalibur. I can sit here and go on for the next hour or two. One knockers, rattlers, you name it, they're out there. So if you haven't tried a lipless crankbait, you need to try it out. You generally want to throw a shad pattern. Sexy shad's one of my favorites. Something like this is more of, I guess, kind of a bluegill Tennessee shad color. A lot of ponds that I fish in have Tennessee shad color bait fish in them. This matches that hatch really well. If it's bright blue, sunny skies, or if it's bright outside, I want something with a little bit of reflection. I'll throw a silver and black or a silver and blue, just like this. Not only gives that vibration from it rattling, but also gives off that reflection in the water column. Now, if the water is stained and dirty, or even chocolate milk sometimes, but more so if it's stained and dirty, I'm going to go to a chartreuse and black. Has the orange belly, and those colors just seem to reflect much more better when the water's dirty and stained. So I throw that on 12-pound fluorocarbon on my 7-foot cranking rod. Works really well for me. And the lipless crankbait is just a fish catching machine. It really catches tons of fish, and it's a great lure. Alright, so the next lure I would go to is going to be a swim jig. This is your Strike King 3/8 ounce sexy shad. I put a little 3.5 inch paddle tail swimmer on here as a trailer. Throw it out, works tremendously well. I will throw this swim jig in and around docks, stumps, laydowns, grass, you name it. I've thrown it almost just about anywhere, and this profile has been really successful and caught lots of fish with it. I will stick to a white color, a shad color during the fall. If the water's dirty or maybe a little bit murky, I'll grab a green pumpkin and throw a crawl trailer or a paddle tail trailer and a darker color on there, just to give it more of that visual presentation, and it's worked tremendously well for me. So if you have not tried a swim jig, definitely get out, throw you a swim jig out, put you a paddle tail on it, put you a creature style crawl trailer on it, what have you. We're not going to get into trailers because there's so many different options that you can do with them, but get out and throw them and you'll catch you a lot of fish. Alright guys, last but not least is a lure that I am not being 100% successful with. It's not a strong point for me, but I do know it is an awesome lure to throw in the fall. In the mornings the water temperature is cold and cool, and as the day progresses the water temperatures warm up, and that is where a square bill will shine. Whoa, 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 just stop the bus. Now what in the heck was I thinking as a number 5 fall bait being a square bill crankbait? I don't even like square bill crankbaits. They're just not a confident lure for me. They are not a lure that I particularly use on a regular basis, and they're just not a strong point for me. Now don't get me wrong, they are amazing lures for a lot of people. They are a great search bait, and you can cover tons of water with them and catch tons of fish. But for me, myself, just not a strong point for me. So with that being said, as my number 5 top fall bait, this is a bait that will work year round, also works tremendously well in the fall. That is a fluke. Now I know you're probably thinking, LT, why a fluke? Why a fluke, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you real quick. I can fish this fluke fast, or I can dead stick it and fish it as slow as can be. Make it act just like a dying bait fish, and bass will attack it. Now my number one color is going to be white on a regular basis most of the time, especially in clear to stained water. And if it's really, really dirty water, I'll dip the tail in some chartreuse, give it a little bit of accent color. Now if it's clear water and it's a bright sunny day like today and I'm not getting bit on the white, I'll go to a smoking shad color. Now I'll throw this on a 6'7" to 7 foot medium fast action rod with 12-pound fluorocarbon and a 3/0 EWG hook. I prefer braid. I like braid, so I normally will tie 20-pound braid on a line, throw a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader, throw my EWG hook on there, and weightless rig the fluke, and just have tremendous success with it. Anyhow, guys, that is my top 5 fall baits. There's about 20 million more different types, kinds, brands, colors. I'm not going to sit here and go through all that today that you can use during the fall, and it works tremendously well. Make sure you stay tuned. Starting next week, I will be having a video on each and every one of these 5 baits, and we will go more in depth about all 5 of these top 5 fall baits and let you know everything you need to know about them. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Anyhow, guys, that is my top 5 fall baits. If you like this video, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.